Keeping positive high vibrations in your classroom, yeah, that can be a challenging one. So, from a spiritual point of view, here are a few tips that I use with my own kids that could maybe be also used in the classroom too. Whenever one of my kids are just all in their feelings, like, those like gross, annoying feelings, super low vibration, I let them kind of like say their piece because, you're a kid and you feel like you're going to explode. You got to get it out. So I let them say their piece. And then I go, okay, now name 3 things you're grateful for. Don't care what they are at all. Any 3 things you're grateful for. And I make them name those, and it kind of puts them at that like slightly less angry state. It kind of just breaks them out of that little shell for a second, so then they can choose what direction they want to go in. That is definitely one thing that, although they're cranky about it, it works. Letting my kids express themselves definitely helps, because even if they're expressing themselves in a way that seems low vibration, if I don't let them express themselves and only let them talk positively all of the time, then they build up that negative vibration inside of them and it explodes out of them later. If my kids are talking bad about themselves and saying like, or I'm too stupid to do this, or I won't be able to read that book's too hard, or this math homework is way too much for me to be able to handle, I correct them immediately and I say, no, we name something that we're good with and we realize that we have growth in this area that we need, but I want to hear how you are good at reading. What books are you good at? What books do you enjoy reading? Or tell me one thing about math, one aspect about math that you really do enjoy and you really are good. I make them tell me one thing that they're good at in the subject that they're complaining about, because then it makes them realize like, oh, it's not as severe as I'm feeling. And yeah, okay, I need work on that, and that's why we're working on it in the classroom, but it's not as bad and severe as my heart is feeling in this moment. I also give them the space to be themselves. So as a teacher, if one of my kids, my middle school kids especially, because they are just like the weirdest, best creatures, I love them so much. They were my favorite group of kids. If one of my middle school kids was having like a moment and they just need to be away from people, I respected that, because there are times when I just need to be away from people for 5 freaking minutes and then I will be fine because I'm learning how to self-soothe. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff is important to learn how to calm yourself down. So if one of my kids needed that, there was like a corner in the back of the classroom where it's away from everyone, where they could still listen and still do their work, but they got to like have space and feel like they could breathe, and they weren't like, it wasn't all claustrophobic and they were stuck in there. I would also respect my kids in what they needed, why they learned. I know when I learn, I need to do something with my hands. I need to be able to draw or tap my pencil or something, as long as it's not distracting to other people, but especially draw. I would listen a lot better to my teachers if I were to draw and do stuff while they were speaking, because I would take on a lot more. So realizing that every kid is not the same and they come from different backgrounds helps.